Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Amir Zeshan, Subject Specialist English in DPS Sahiwal. You are very warm welcome on our YouTube channel. Let's start today's lesson. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Students, today we will talk about concept of direct and indirect object. First, I will tell you about the learning objectives of today's lesson. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to understand the concept of direct and indirect object, identify the direct and indirect object, and they will also be able to use direct and indirect object in a sentence. Obviously, there are three major parts of a sentence. First one is subject, second one is verb, and third one is object. Subject is the doer of the action. Verb is the action word. And what is object? Object of a sentence is the person or thing that receives the action of the verb. It is the who or what that the subject does something to. For example, they played the drums. In this sentence, they is subject, played is verb or action word, and the word drums is the receiver of the action. It receives the action. It is receiving the action. So drums is an object. I gave him a gift. In this sentence, there are two objects, him and gift. So there are two types of object, direct object and indirect object. First, we will talk about direct object. The direct object is a person or thing that is affected by the action of the verb. You could say that the direct object receives the action of the verb. For example, he broke the window. What was affected by the action in this sentence? Obviously, the word window. So the window was obviously affected by the action. So window is direct object. More example, he kicked the ball. In this sentence, the ball is receiving the action and it is direct object as well. Next, we have indirect object. An indirect object is a person or thing that the action is done to or for. For example, he gave his mother flowers. To whom he did the flower? Obviously, to his mother. So, his mother is the indirect object in a. Next, we will discuss how to find direct and indirect object. To find out which is the indirect object in a sentence, we can put to or for or another preposition before the word. If the sentence still makes sense, then the object is indirect. For example, the shopkeeper sold him a pencil. Which is the direct and which is the indirect object? You can write the shopkeeper sold a pencil to him. Him is the indirect object. Now we have an activity. Find the direct and indirect objects in the following sentences. Highlight the direct object with green marker and highlight the indirect object with red one. We have 6 sentences. First one is Samir told us a story last night. Second, my uncle sent me a calendar for Christmas. Third, the lady showed her son the presents. Fourth, the builder built Bill a building. Fifth, when the principal left the school, the teacher gave him a clock. Sixth, please bring me bunch of roses. Now, pause this lecture for 1 or 2 minutes and solve this activity. Now, I am going to share the key of this activity. First sentence. Samir told us a story last night. In this sentence, a story and second word is us. Both are objects. A story is a direct receiver of the action. That is why it is direct object. And us is indirectly receiving the action. That is why it is indirect object. Direct object is a thing most of the times, and indirect object in a sentence is a person. Second sentence. My uncle sent me a calendar for Christmas. In this sentence, a calendar is direct object and me is indirect object. Next sentence. The lady showed her son the presents. In this sentence, the word presents is directly receiving the action. That is why it is direct object, and presents is a it is showing a thing. Or next word that is indirect object in a sentence is her. It is indirectly receiving the action. It is a person. Next sentence. The builder built Bill a building. In this sentence, a building is direct object and Bill is indirect object. Next, when the principal left the school, the teacher gave him a clock. In this sentence, the school is direct object in first clause and a clock is direct object in second clause. The word him is indirect object. Next sentence, please bring me bunch of roses. In this sentence, bunch of roses, this group of word is receiving the action directly. It is direct object. It is showing a thing, a bunch of roses. They are the things. And me is indirectly receiving the action. It is a person. It's time for homework. Identify the direct and indirect object. You have 5 sentences. First sentence is they elected him their mayor. Second sentence, my mother bought me a necklace. Third sentence, John told Peter a story. Fourth sentence, he hit the ball. And last sentence is he gave me an interesting storybook. Students, you will write down these sentences in your notebooks and then identify the direct and indirect object. Have a nice day and thank you very much.